Eh bien salut mes loulous, c'est l'inspecteur ExVSK, toujours avec mon beau petit chapeau que j'adore tellement. Donc on se retrouve pour une nouvelle mission sur les Noirs, qui était la Naked City. Allez, on y va, on va à la sortie, c'est par là, sortie c'est par là, sortie c'est à gauche, sortie c'est à gauche. Hein?
Same way they would a fat broad with a 5 o'clock shadow.
I really hope you're joking, Roy.
Ah lol. Bon, apparemment c'est encore une histoire de drogue, comme d'habitude. Allez, je sais, vous n'aimez pas des masques, que je ne prenne pas la voiture pour conduire, mais bon, si je devais commencer à conduire, les vidéos feraient 1h30.
You seem distracted.
We recovered the morphine. Some of it might be unaccounted for, so what? That's life. We did our job.
Closing one case opens another.
Do you have any idea what is really going on while we're wasting our time following this stuff?
Are you going to tell me?
The deals being done right now will change the face of LA forever, and we're wasting our time on some hump.
Someone's little girl.
Visit the morgue at the end of the month when the John and Jane Does are cremated. Their percentages. The odds for and against lightning striking.
Bon, j'espère qu'il n'y aura pas appartement 6 au fond du couloir. J'espère qu'il y aura, ce sera pas une femme nue. Parce que j'en ai un peu marre de la censure, si vous voyez ce que je veux dire. Appartement 6. On va monter. Appartement 6, 7. C'est pas celui-là. 6. 8. Hein? Ah d'accord.
Bukowski, you made homicide.
That I did. Good to see you, Phelps.
You two want a hug? Or can we get on with this?
Relax, Rusty.
26 years old, fashion model. Found in the tub by the cleaning lady, Mrs. Reynoldson. She called it in.
We heard Carruthers thinks...
Carruthers likes to make work for people. Overdose of sleeping pills, falls asleep in the tub, rest in peace, case closed.
Here, here. Mal is 100% that it's murder.
Do you mind if I take a look around?
Sure. Go right ahead.
Pourquoi il se déplace tout seul? Bonjour! Ah!
Phelps?
Mal, we've had a look around. Rusty thinks it's a waste of time. What's your theory?
Come on, Mal. Tell us why we were dragged down here.
If the victim was alive when she entered the tub, water would have entered her lungs. The water is violently churned in the windpipe as she drowns. The result is that a lot of foam is generated. This foam is found at the mouth and nostrils in almost all cases of real drowning. Notice anything about our Vic?
May I take a look?
Be my guest.
Un peu, je veux être ton guest.
Take a closer look at her head and neck.
C'est bleu.
Her neck is bruised pretty badly.
J'imagine trop la fille dire ah, je suis stone. Oula, c'est quoi ces trucs dégueulasses sur les bras là? Ça fait attaquer par un chien quoi.
A very unusual ring.
I could be wrong, but it looks like a black sapphire.
Faudra m'expliquer un jour pourquoi est-ce que les femmes, quand elles meurent, elles ont toujours leurs ongles cassés. Si elle est morte d'une overdose par noyade, qu'est-ce qu'on en a à foutre? Oula.
Bruising on the forearms and these look like bite marks.
Very good. The eyes are a classic sign of morphine, and the bruises tell their own story. I think one man held her down and another held her arm and injected her. They put her in the bath to try to cover it as a drowning.
And spread a trail of barbiturates.
Take a look around outside on your way out and see if you can find the syrettes. It would make my theory.
And morphine would have been very quick, and there wouldn't have been much of a struggle.
Okay, So find two guys who recently bought cigarettes and weren't junkies, and you might be onto something.
Bon. T'es un sacré lot. Ça m'intéresse là. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a ici? Pas grand chose. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a ici? Ah, ces vêtements.
Quality English smoking jacket. I don't know anyone under 45 who would wear one.
Ça serait pas la sienne alors.
I don't know. Miss Julie, she always had so much fire, so much drive. I'm sorry, I'm not being very clear.
They're there.
Analyse.
Looks like barbiturates.
Donc madame était une junkie. Madame était une putain de junkie. Ah, qu'est-ce qu'on a ici? Qu'est-ce qu'il y a dedans? Oh!
What else is rattling around in this thing?
Regardez, je peux secouer, ça tombera pas, ça bougera pas. Ah, oh!
We should speak to her doctor. Prescribing both drugs would make her life a roller coaster.
Drogué. Casse-toi, c'est mes comprimés. C'est moi qui prends la drogue ici. Parce que je suis un junkie. Alors... Bon. Où est-ce qu'on peut aller maintenant? À vue de nez, on peut aller ici. Ah! Madame était une star.
This is all top end of town stuff. Gives us somewhere to look.
Ça va, y a rien, on avait compris. On va tous les regarder parce qu'apparemment, il y a des interactions avec chacune. Allez. Ah!
It's a place to start.
Bah non, le médecin, ça va l'air pas mal. Moi, j'ai commencé par le médecin, en tout cas. Et là, qu'est-ce qu'il y a?
Beautiful girl. Clothes certainly aren't from the Sears catalog.
Pique! Ah bah oui, faut s'y attendre, hein. Pas de message. Bon, bah je crois qu'on a... Non. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a dans la cuisine? Oh mon Dieu! Voilà l'arme du crime. Un pot de cornflakes juste à côté. Bon, bah ça va mec, hein. Je crois pas que... Ou alors leur fer à repasser. Oh mon Dieu!
Nothing significant.
Mesdames, quand vous voyez un truc pareil, réfléchissez à deux fois avant qu'on vous offre un fer à repasser, hein.
I'm Detective Phelps. I'm here to try and help Julia. Do you mind answering some questions?
Virginia Reynoldson, I'm just so shocked. I feel like there's something I should be doing, someone I should call.
We can make those calls, ma'am. Who needs to be notified?
That's just it. I don't know. Miss Julie doesn't have any family in town. Someone has to set her affairs in order. Mr. Henderson, maybe? Who else is there? I don't know.
If you give the details to the other detectives, ma'am, they can try and get in contact. Was Miss Randall depressed about something? Upset?
No more than normal.
Elle me cache quelque chose, la petite coquine. Voyons voir. T'as exprimé quelque chose ou soucieuse? Tu me mens! Il y avait des somnifères.
What are you hiding here, Mrs. Reynoldson? Julie was obviously disturbed about something.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
She was taking barbiturates. She couldn't sleep. You must have seen them in her room.
You've seen the pillbox, the things she hid in there. I don't know how she supported herself. Always new clothes and jewelry. She lived like a movie star. A princess. Does modeling really pay that well?
Did Miss Randall have many friends visit?
I'm not sure. I only come around twice a week.
Why are you lying to me, Mrs. Reynoldson? Julia had men stay here.
I will not speak ill of the dead. You can't prove that.
Ouais. Alors, il est où la veste?
Who owns the smoking jacket?
I wouldn't like to tell tales, you understand. That's Mr. Henderson's. An older man, very distinguished looking. He seemed very much in love with her.
Where would we find him?
I'm sorry. I don't know. He said he lives in San Francisco.
What was it like working for Miss Randall?
Perfectly fine, officer.
J'ai rien pour la faire mentir. Merde! Putain.
Mrs. Reynoldson, it seems like there's something you want to tell me.
She was very high-strung. Lovely one moment and screaming at you the next. She wanted it all, and she wanted it damn quick. Of course, being so beautiful, it seemed like she was going to get it. Not the way it's turned out, though, is it?
Thanks, Mrs. Reynoldson. You've been very helpful. One of the other detectives will take your statement, and then you can go home.
On peut se casser, ça y est.
Stefan, Rusty, we'll take a look around outside and then follow up these leads. Can you get some guys to run down the jacket?
Ouh là là, Phelps donne des ordres.
Called it right? He rarely gets it wrong.
I don't know. I'm with Galloway. I've met enough girls in
quoi,
my
là?
time who can't handle their dope.
C'est quoi ça? C'est de la morphine? Oh mon dieu!
Mal will be pleased.
Well, that's hardly conclusive, given the number of those things we've come across recently.
The autopsy will confirm it one way or another.
I think our work is done here.
Cadavre esquis. J'adore le mec qui trouve une seringue de morphine dans la poubelle et qu'est-ce qu'il fait? Oh, je vais la remettre! Bon, c'est pas tout ça, mais il est temps qu'on aille interroger le docteur. Le docteur Maboule! Le docteur.
You're behind the wheel.
Where are we going?
Let's go!
Here's what I heard. That cop caught the guy who did the Dahlia. They covered it all up. Some kind of big...
Bukowski, Galloway, quite the little reunion in there. Almost brought a tear to my eye.
They're good police.
How would you know? You got promoted so fast you barely had time to learn their names. Let me fill you in. Bukowski's a pushover. Galloway's a drunk.
You could learn a thing or two from both of them.
Please. They couldn't work a vice case if their life depended on it.
I don't see why they'd be any better or worse at it than me.
I noticed you said better. Hubris disguised as humility. Kind of your trademark, don't you think?
Why do you always twist everything? Galloway's got nothing to prove. He's been on homicide for years.
And he's welcome to it. You're a terrier, Phelps, and that's what I need. Not some old bulldog who can't get up a flight of stairs without coughing up his lunch.
Bon, c'est ici? Ça doit être ici, ouais. Ouais, c'est ici. Bon. Stoneman. 500. Stoneman, quoi. Stoneman. Fallait oser. 505. Donc on va prendre l'ascenseur, je suppose. Hein. Bah oui. Hein. Ici, c'est des bourges, vous voyez. Ouh. Dis donc, c'est que c'est serré ici.
I swear, if we locked up every doctor in this town, Vice would be able to work half days.
Alors... 505, 503, 505, voilà. Bonjour.
Yes, sir, your name?
LAPD, we'd like to see Dr. Stoneman.
Dr. Stoneman is with a patient. Would you like to wait?
No, we wouldn't. Tell him we want to see him now.
There's no need to be rude.
Save it, sister.
Dr. Stoneman, I have some gentlemen from the LAPD here to see you.
Send them in, please. I'll see this patient again after they've left.
Eh, t'as fait bugger. Mais qu'est-ce qu'il fait?
Your investigation is much more important than my sciatica.
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a
I'm
ici?
just in pain here.
Il boit du café. C'est forcément le meurtrier. Fera toujours rire de voir ce genre de truc ici. Bon, docteur.
Dr. Stoneman, we are investigating the death of one of your patients, Julia Randall.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Do you mind if we ask you some questions about Ms. Randall?
Not if it doesn't compromise doctor-patient privilege, Detective.
How well did you know Miss Randall?
Barely at all. She'd only been a patient 6 months or so.
Non. Ça doit pas être ça. Daté du juillet 1946. Ah ah!
Julia Randall has been your patient for nearly a year. I'm sure you know that.
Do you doubt my veracity, Detective? Do you have access to my patient records?
Your prescriptions contradict you, Doctor.
Miss Randall was in the fashion business, as you probably know. She was jumped up on Benzedrine by day and knocked down by sleeping pills at night. I told her to slow up, but no. Life was too short for her.
And you supplied the prescription for the Benzedrine?
It's not illegal, Detective. A lot of young women in her line of work use it for weight loss.
You wrote Julia Randall a prescription for Benzedrine. How can you account for that?
Miss Randall was in the fashion business. She wanted to control her weight.
Elle voulait contrôler son poids, mais tu lui as quand même prescrit des somnifères. Non, parce que là, il a quand même avoué qu'il lui donnait des trucs, donc... Ah, mais putain!
Benzedrine is addictive, as I'm sure you know, Doctor.
As I warned her, but she was determined. She said she needed it to control her appetite.
Sounds like you knew her pretty well.
I knew the line of work she was involved in.
That'll be all for now, Dr. Stoneman. We'll be in touch.
Bon. Où est-ce qu'on va maintenant? C'est ça la question. Où est-ce qu'on va? Allez, on se casse. Bande de gros. Oh putain, vous êtes sérieux qu'il faut reprendre le truc? Ça va pas directement nous téléporter là? Dès que je sens que la mission va durer ultra longtemps. Non, vous avez pas envie de taper une petite bavette là? Je suis ExVSK, yo fou. Tu t'as... Pourquoi pas?
The old boy's lying.
Quoi là?
About what?
I don't know. He looked relieved when you said she was dead. That's a strange reaction after the death of a young patient.
Bon, qu'est-ce qu'il nous reste? Donc la boutique de vêtements. On va aller voir ça.
Have you noticed how croakers only pull out the physician-patient privilege card when they got something to hide?
There are certain things people have a right to keep private.
Until it gets in the way of police work. And it's only private when it suits them. A couple of drinks and every doctor I've met will spill your darkest secrets in a heartbeat.
Ouh là là, mais ça va être un beau magasin de mode ici. Bonjour madame.
Well, hello. Shouldn't you be working?
LAPD, ma'am.
I hope I haven't done anything wrong.
No, ma'am. We're making some inquiries about Julia Randall. Does she work here?
No, I had to let her go. Is she in some sort of trouble?
She was found dead this morning. How long had Julia worked as a model?
Well, she worked in New York before coming here. She was a very beautiful girl.
LOL. Moi, elle m'a l'air sincère.
Could you tell us why you let Miss Randall go?
Husbands sometimes come in here with their wives. When Julia Randall modeled, the husbands were often more interested in her than they were their wives' dresses. The wives weren't happy, and neither was I.
Did she have any close friends here?
Actually, yes. Heather Swanson. Would you like to speak with her?
I'd like that very much. Please don't inform her about Miss Randall's death.
Very well, officer. Heather, these gentlemen are from the LAPD.
I'm Detective Phelps. This is Detective Earl. I understand that you worked with Julia Randall, Miss Swanson?
Yes. Julia helped me get my job here. She's not in any kind of trouble, is she?
She's a hellraiser, isn't she? Lives a fast life.
Oh, no. Maybe Mrs. Stanley would call her that, but I wouldn't. She's full of life, wonderful company.
That's a lovely engagement ring.
Do you like it? Henry gave it to me.
I'm very interested in engagement rings. Do you mind if I take a closer look? That's some pearl, Miss Swanson. Would have cost Henry a fortune. He must really love you. How did you meet Julia?
I was introduced through my fiancé, Henry Arnett.
Henry is your beau. Tell us about it.
Yes, he is. Henry has a fashion business. He and Julia have been friends for years.
Are Miss Randall and Mr. Henderson engaged?
Who's he?
C'est la première fois que je tombe sur une femme aussi sincère.
She was wearing a sapphire engagement ring. Someone must have given it to her.
She never mentioned a man named Henderson to me.
That's all for now, Miss Swanson. Could you ask your fiancé to visit Hollywood Police Station? It would be very helpful to our inquiry.
Now, wait a moment. I don't think I'll pass on that message until you tell me why you're asking all these questions.
Julia Randall was found dead this morning.
What? Oh no. Oh, I can't believe it. She was so full of life.
Et bim! Dans ta gueule. Ah, toujours le numéro de téléphone, hein? Toujours.
Phelps, 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
Are there any messages for me?
Yes, Detective. The coroner's been asking to speak to you. I can connect the call if you like.
Please, thank you. Al?
Cole, can you get over here? I just finished the autopsy.
Sure thing, Mal. We'll be right over.
En fait, quand ils disent son matricule, à mon avis, ils ont pas dû se forcer. Ils ont dû juste faire une phrase et basta, quoi. Allez, on va à l'hôpital.
All right, where to?
Let's go à l'hôpital. Let's go à l'hôpital. L'hôpital.
Nice move, not telling old Sweet Lips in there about her friend taking the big jump till we were half out the door. Very slick.
I figured we'd get more out of her that way.
You're learning, Phelps. We'll make a vice cop out of you yet.
Mais on ressemblait pas à ça à la morgue avant. Il y a de l'évolution, dis donc. Bon, il est où mon copain?
That's the guy from the papers. Solve that big case.
Ouais, c'est moi.
Cole, Roy, I have some information for you.
You're the only person enjoying this, Mal. Get on with it.
The bruising confirms 2 sets of hands, so we have 2 killers. Death was caused by heart failure due to an overdose of morphine.
Have you dragged us down here to gloat? We already heard your theory.
We agree that she was murdered.
Yes, of course.
I have something else to show you.
All right, Mal, what gives?
The dead guy's name is Jimmy LeBlanc, career burglar. He came in this morning. Someone stove his head in with a lump of 2x4.
So what? Good riddance.
I found 2 cigarettes in his jacket pocket.
Wow.
Hang on a minute, Roy. We're listening, Mal.
No sign of morphine use and no metabolized morphine in his blood. Scratch marks on his face.
Which could be from getting his head remodeled.
Time of death, Mal.
Maybe an hour or 2 after the Randall girl.
So you're saying Laughing Boy here could be one of our killers? That's a hell of a long shot.
Thanks, Mal. We'll check it out.
I found something else.
Qu'est-ce que t'as trouvé? Un harmonica!
Sorry, I don't play.
I don't know if it's significant. His wallet was empty. The only other things he was carrying were the harmonica and the morphine. Carruthers. Yeah, he's here. I'll send him over. They have a guy called Henry Arnett in interview 2 for you next door. Let me know how you get on.
Sure, Mal. And thanks for the lead.
Sure, Mal. Thanks for the lead.
Quoi? On doit retourner au commissariat? Déjà? Pouf! Bon.
You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
Au commissariat.
Do we know where we're going? We're here now.
Eh? Oh, le commissariat est à côté, lol! Ah, je suis trop fort.
I don't care. I'm going for letting gangsters off scot-free.
Il est où, mon gars?
Say, could I borrow some of that mascara?
Bah, il est où, c'est un interrogatoire?
I'm busy now. Can I ignore you some other time?
Arnett is in interview too, Phelps. Go help him get whatever it is off his chest.
C'est où interview tout? Ah, c'est là, c'est là, c'est là, c'est là. Ouais, c'est là. Allez, la grosse.
Mr. Arnett, I'm Detective Phelps. This is Detective Earl. Thanks for coming in.
Call me Henry. It's the least I could do. Terrible news about Julia.
How well did you know Julia Randall?
Vaguely. I'm in the clothing business, and Julia occasionally modeled for me.
You going to release me now?
Mhm. Bon. Bon, allez, vas-y pour ça.
And you were close?
We were friends.
Okay, my brain.
Miss Randall's landlady said she was seeing an older man.
Could have been. I wasn't privy to all the details of Julia's private life.
Are there navvers without dirty in this city anymore?
Spill it, Henry. You know nothing about a man named Henderson?
Yes, you're right. Henderson, yeah. Very distinguished.
How about a first name, wise guy? An address, maybe?
I'm sorry, I don't. I think he lives somewhere out of town. Somewhere back east.
Ever heard of a Jimmy LeBlanc?
No. Should I have? Is he an entertainer or something?
You see my mother?
So you wouldn't have any reason to believe that LeBlanc would be involved in Julie Randall's murder?
If this guy is a criminal, he might have been involved, but like I said, I've never heard of this LeBlanc character.
Heather told us that you were in fashion.
That's right.
Canary says he'll sing, but if I guarantee he'll walk.
Do I need to fill this out? Negative.
You're some kind of traveling salesman?
Well, once I got out of the Corps, I used my...
You were in the Marines?
Sure. I'm proud of it. The Fighting Sixth.
You were in the 6th Marines?
Yes. I was a captain.
Which company?
Various companies. We had a lot of casualties.
Which engagements?
Okinawa. A couple of other places.
That will be all for now, Henry. You've been very helpful.
That son of a bitch was never in the Marines. Why'd you let him off the hook?
Because we're giving him a couple of minutes before we start tailing him. Arnett is an amateur. We need to find out who killed the girl. Can you pass this on to Bukowski? Have him check the place out and go through his records.
Sure, I'll pass it on.
Thanks. Can you also have R&I run the records on a Jimmy LeBlanc and find out who was his last arresting officer? Have them get in touch via KGPL when they have some information.
He's in that car at the lights.
Bah, je me suis fait bien brain hein, sur cette partie.
He was squirming like a worm in there. Don't you love it when they pull the war hero excuse? Actually, maybe you don't.
Allez hop. Trop près. Allez. Plus vite enculé. Oula, oula, speed. Il ralentit comme d'habitude.
I'd have expected a cad like Arnett to be a better liar.
Bon là il est en train un peu de me ken là. Allez ma grosse, va plus vite. Allez, plus vite. Ouh là il s'arrête. Non il s'arrête pas. Continue son chemin. Allez, plus vite. Putain. Les filatures c'est pas ce qu'il y a le plus dur hein, dans ce jeu.
Taking us, Henry.
Spooked them. Back into traffic, Phelps, now.
Comment ça on se spoté là? Aïe! Oh merde. Il est un peu avancé ce connard.
God damn it. Everyone's looking at us, Cole.
T'arrêtes de dire n'importe quoi! Oula, oula, stop. Pourquoi il avance plus? Quand même. Oh, enculé. Fonce! Ralentis!
That idiot never stepped foot in Okinawa.
Bah oui, ça on s'en doutait bien qu'il avait jamais foutu un pied à Okinawa. On l'avait remarqué à son air. Plus vite. J'aime pas les filatures. Ça casse le rythme. Allez. Ah, on dirait qu'il va s'arrêter là. Oui, il s'arrête.
He needs money and fast. Get in there and find out what he pawned. I'll stick with him, see how he intends to spend the money. Move in. Can't
Cool.
risk losing the trail.
Hoof it, Phelps. I'll bring the car around when I'm done here.
Je suis sur la rue opposée, moi, je suis un ouf. Alors, il va où ce connard? C'est marrant parce que ça me dit qu'il disparaît, mais bizarrement, je le vois toujours, quoi. Eh, petit con! Allez, ma salope! Où est-ce que tu vas, là? Je vais là-bas, ok. Et moi, je reste là. Ça me paraît bien... Pas bien, en fait. Vas-y, bouge. Tup. Allez, ma grosse. Mène-moi là où je veux que tu m'amènes. T'inquiète pas, je te spot. Arrête de te retourner, je suis sur le truc opposé en plus. T'as même pas remarqué, quoi. Je suis légèrement en train de te regarder là, mais accessoirement, hop. Où est-ce qu'il va, ce con là? Quoi? Comment il a fait pour me repérer? Comment il a fait? J'étais derrière le truc, il a pas pu me spotter. Oh mais non, quoi.
Hoof it, Phelps. I'll bring the car around when I'm done here.
Bon, on va le suivre, hein. Ah, fait chier, quoi. Putain, j'étais bien parti en plus. Je dois tout recommencer, quoi. Putain, à ce rythme-là, la mission, je vais la faire en 2 parties, quoi. Ça me casserait bien les noix, d'ailleurs, que je vais la faire en 2 parties. Ah non, j'ai pas de tes fleurs, mec. D'accord, c'est carrément le trafic qui me fait spotter, quoi. Pas moyen de passer ce passage, ça irait plus vite. Tu sais quoi? Je vais rester ici, comme ça il me fera pas chier. Je suis pas là, ma grosse. Regarde, je suis là. Tu ne m'auras pas. Tu ne me verras pas. Eh, qu'est-ce qu'ils font ces deux-là, là? Ils se regardent bizarrement, là. Sympa ce que tu fais, hein. Allez. Tourne. Je rush! Ça il va me voir d'ici, je rigole. Allez, on va la voir. On va la voir. Vas-y, faut que tu disparaisses de mon champ de vision, nickel. Allez, avance.
That's right, Mexico City. One-way ticket, please. Next available seat.
That would be 1 day from now. Is that okay?
It's going to have to be.
LAPD, the man who just came in here, he bought a ticket?
Yes, sir. To Mexico City, tomorrow night.
If you hear from him again, don't mention this conversation.
What have you got?
He bought a ticket from Mexico City. Tomorrow night.
That's good. But this is better.
My God. It's Fabergé.
Should have seen the look on the pawnbroker's face when I told him to hand it over. The guy who owned the joint thought it was worth at least 10 large for a cigarette case. Arnett only got 600 clams.
Hein. Bon. Qu'est-ce que je dois faire maintenant? Bon, ben il reste que le commissariat. Let's go alors, hein.
This is KTI Radio. Car 11K, 11 King, come in.
Go ahead, KGPL.
11K, go to Hollywood Station. Homicide detectives Bukowski and Galloway have information relating to the Randall case.
Roger, KGPL. 11K, en route.
Car 11K, car 11 King, come in.
Car 11 King, go ahead.
R&I reports the last arresting officer for DOA Jimmy LeBlanc was Patrolman Fred Wallace, who's working a shift on Hollywood 9th Beat, Sunset Boulevard between Gordon and Wilcox.
Car 11K, en route.
Sir, I need the contraband list. Items stolen over the last year.
Hang on, I'll dig out a copy for you. Here you go.
Thanks.
Is the cigarette case on there?
Alors on a quoi? Une radio sans fil. C'est quoi ça? Un étui à cigarette. Ah, un saphir.
Julia Randall's ring. It's here.
Do I need to find someone to look after me?
It's here. Arnett must be out of his mind trying to move this while under a murder cloud.
Hey, do you fellas need me to stick around much longer?
Alors, on va voir Ben, bébé. C'est tout? Plus rien? Bon, il n'y a pas l'air d'y avoir plus autre chose. C'est quoi ça? Non. C'est quoi ça? Non, il n'y a pas l'air d'y avoir d'autres trucs. Bon. Bon. Eh? Enquêter chez les... Pourquoi s'il me dit que je peux revenir? Non, non, c'est bon là. Bon, ce que je vais faire, c'est que je vais m'arrêter ici pour cette nouvelle partie. Parce que oui, l'enquête a l'air assez longue, ça a l'air ultra chiant. Et donc, qu'est-ce qu'il nous reste comme choix là? Il n'y avait même pas de trouille, ok. Bon, ce qu'on fera, c'est qu'on fera une nouvelle patrouille pour la prochaine fois. Bon, ben voilà, excusez-moi, c'est la première fois que je finis pas une enquête, mais bon. Ah, je tiens à m'excuser quand même. Bon, ben voilà, j'espère que ce début d'enquête vous aura plu, même si ça fait 44 minutes qu'on est déjà... Enfin, environ 44 minutes, je sais pas exactement. J'ai pas ma montre. Il est où mon téléphone? Non, ça doit faire 40 minutes qu'on doit être en vidéo. Bref. Allez, sur ce mes petits loups, je vais vous laisser. Pour ça, vous pensez à rock'n'roll. De ta gueule. Pour ça, rock'n'roll, n'oublie pas d'avoir la Ouiiii attitude, comme d'habitude, j'ai très peu. Que vous êtes pas pour tout partout, je vous dis à la prochaine pour de nouvelles aventures avec Cole. Ciao, bye et peace.